Report. This is Jon and Ked. We're going to be talking Tippah County Sports at the RCTV 19 studios in Ripley, Mississippi. We're live for the first time today, so we're going to see how things go. How you making it today, Ked?
Man, good. Looking
Slowly
forward to
but
this.
surely.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking really whatever we think about.
We got a first live viewer. We got one.
They're coming.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to be talking Joe Bowl, which was last week for sure. We're going to be talking Ripley, their hot start to the season. They rolled again last week. We're going to be talking maybe talk about Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mississippi State looked salty. Your Bulldogs.
They did. I did not see a snap of college football thanks to Plaingate 2022.
Okay. Yeah. It had me on the run as well, so we were both kind of out. Trying to track that down. Playing cake got us for sure. And it was my little girl's birthday, so I'm like, I see it going to smack at me. Ruined first opening day of college. No game day, little girl's birthday, the whole thing. So anyway, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start talking the Joe Bowl, which was last Thursday between Faulkner and Walnut. If you're not familiar, big-time rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're listening to this, most likely you're familiar.
Yeah.
So Walnut kind of continued their dominance in the series. The T-Sun, I guess, the school up north for Faulkner folks. Yeah. So anyway.
Fourth in a row. 6 out of the last 7.
6 out of the last 7. They looked pretty good too. I mean, to start the season, I think they're and in 2A. I think they got a shot in their district anyway. They looked pretty good.
Yeah. They look solid. And got that 3-headed monster got 3 big backs.
3 big backs, but really, so we're talking 3 big backs, and they're all big contributors.
Yeah.
But Cameron Grays had a really strong start to the season. 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Through, he's played roughly 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Total.
Yep.
And 2 big wins.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to get on the radar from
6'1", 220.
Yeah.
Big kid. Anyway, Walnut just kind of controlled the game from start to finish. But I will say this. Faulkner looked better than they had the last 2 years.
They did. That's something that Walnut coach John Meek said in post game. That he
they fought hard. They
did.
They played to the end and got a score there. They hadn't scored the last 2 years, and so they did get a score in the game to make it 36-8.
Yeah.
Final.
And that's something that Coach Anglin at Faulkner talked about. I asked him, how big was that for, a confidence boost, and he said, it was big.
Because at the end of the day, this game doesn't affect either team's going forward. I mean, other than just bragging rights and et cetera, et cetera. And the game's heated, obviously. I mean, they both want to win.
Yeah, man, it was a good time.
It was a good atmosphere for.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great atmosphere, and got a little chippy at the end.
He got a little chippy, and it got a little chippy to start. I mean, we had kind of talked about the signage situation, which typically in the banner. So typically in these rivalry games, there's the banner game is on point usually because you want to bring some heat.
Yeah,
and so they did.
Yeah, and that was actually the first thing. When I walked up to Coach Anglin, the first thing he said was, "Have you seen the banner?"
Yeah.
In which I hadn't seen the banner, but for those of you who do not know, there was a banner. It was basically a recreation of a tweet that Coach Anglin posted February 5th of 2021.
Okay.
And it talked about recruiting. It was
recruiting, at the high school level.
Yeah, recruiting at the high school level, and he was asking about, was that legal? And I think that referred to. I'm pretty sure that they referred to the fact that T.J. Colum was at Faulkner, and then he ended up at Walnut the next year.
Yeah.
And so this time, Walnut had that banner up. It was referring to Chris Nonnelly, who was at Walnut and now at Faulkner. Now, my personal thing on recruiting is, I believe that any kid should be able to go to any school they want to.
100% agree with that.
No matter what, If a parent wants to drive a kid 200 miles, so be it.
I think they should go to the best situation academically, school fit, athletically, or whatever reason. Right? If the parent's going to put in the time to send a kid wherever. But of course, those are not for whatever reason, that's not the current MHSAA
it's not
setup. And so it does pretty much every year you'll hear
you hear
that kind of chatter.
And TCPS is
they got
what I consider kind of like the death penalty for recruiting alleged recruiting.
Alleged recruiting.
Yeah, and so.
Well, I will say there's been some. Walnut's had some. We were talking earlier about they've had some.
Oh yeah,
fire signs.
Yeah, I mean they had a banner.
We got on ESPN here.
Yeah, they made ESPN.
10 or 12.
Yes, I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was basically a playoff game, and Walnut was like, "Hey, tell your dates that you'll be free next Friday. You can't play tonight. You can't date tonight because you're in the game, but
next week is.
But you'll be free next Friday.
Yeah, we're ending this one down.
Yeah.
So anyway, sign games are part of high school football, I think. Though, I've seen some wild ones in my time covering sports for 20 years.
And man, Faulkner was highly upset.
Yeah.
Players, coaches.
And they they did take the sign down. So they didn't really have much of a bearing on the game. I guess just from a sports standpoint, you do kind of maybe use that as a little bit of motivation in game.
You do.
You should, anything it takes to get a little motivation. So Walnut does come away with the win. They're 2-0. Faulkner's 0-2, but they're looking like an improved squad at 0-2.
Lots of experience. And, Walnut was just, they were just a little bit too much to take.
A little too much. And
a heavy diet of Gray. He finished with 141 yards and 4 scores. The last one was a Meeks called up the
reverse, the inside reverse kind of there, and we got a good. So that was our broadcast game of the week on RCTV 19. And so I pulled a clip out from that. Kind of Owen Peyton Taylor was on the call. He sounded good. We were right on the play. So we've got a good video of that on our Tippah County Sports Twitter.
With that that partnership with Tippah Connect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
I mean, that was great.
That was a great.
I've heard a lot of people talk about how much they enjoyed it. And
so that's talking about last week's broadcast. This week's broadcast will be Ripley Kossuth. We'll talk a little bit about Ripley. Last week, they rolled again.
Yeah, they rolled once again, and
kind of what we talked about in the preview for last week.
Yeah,
I mean, we kind of thought that it was 50-point game there, and we were correct in that assumption that Ripley was going to handle business. So they played 2 teams that they were just better than at every phase of the game, and they went out and took care of business and handled it like they should.
Yeah, game started about like game 1. Turnover on downs, Ripley score. Turnover, Ripley. Well, actually, the second possession punt to C.J. Martin, who returned another kick. This time it was about 45 yards. And
they got some speedsters.
They do.
They got a couple of speedy guys out there.
And they forced some turnovers. Jalen Brooks had a 76-yard fumble return. That was their last score of the game. So,
and I will say this about Ripley: just they've kind of kept the playbook. I don't think they've shown on their cards through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I would say they haven't had to. I mean, when your defense is outscoring. Your defense is outscoring your first 2 weeks opponents 35-0 through 2 weeks or whatever it is. You're not having to dig too deep into the playbook. So what else did we have going on there?
Between special teams, the last 2 weeks, C.J. Martin's had two scores, so that's 12 points. Michael Turner has
As a
interception return, pick 6. That's 6. That's 18. And then 3 fumble recoveries.
3 fumble recoveries.
That's 18 to 16.
34.
That's 34 points.
34 points without your
offense
even not. If they didn't even take a snap, they're up 34 zip, and then they special teams, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I don't know. We're thinking that Ripley is, and we're going to write something on TippahSports.com about how Ripley, kind of where this season could go. I mean, expectations. I mean, I think they were high coming into the season, but now that they've just put a beating on 2 teams, and so I've talked to some people statewide that have been asking me, like, how good is this Ripley team? Like, how, really how good? And I said, man, they're very salty. Yeah. They're extremely salty on defense, and their offense has got some playmakers. They got an experienced quarterback. I think the pieces are in place to really have a big year. For the Tigers.
And that's what I'm working on I'm almost finished with the column now, because that's been the number one question I've got all over the first 2 weeks. What about Ripley? How good are they? And actually, somebody walked up to me at work and said, well, certainly they're not going to beat Kossuth like that.
Who knows? That game's yet to be played. I will say that I saw Kossuth, Corinth, last Friday night, and I mean Kossuth, they're pretty salty as well. I mean they got some boys that'll come hit you. They got experience, kind of very similar to Ripley. They're tough on defense. Probably maybe doesn't have quite the playmakers that Ripley does, but they've got good running back. They're very well coached, experienced quarterback coming back. They got a receiver. It's like 6'3". I mean, they got a big guy, receiver, caught 2 touchdown passes against Corinth. They lost to Corinth they went for 2 in overtime to win it last week against Corinth. Come up about 6 inches short. I mean,
was that at home or
that was at Kossuth.
At Kossuth,
big rivalry. Kossuth, Corinth in Alcorn County there. So
go for the win at home
which is, I mean, I think if you ask most coaches, they say go for the win at home, especially when you're kind of an under, you're 3A playing up to a 4A. Yeah. But so Kossuth, they beat a tough Baldwin team on the road week 1. Yeah. Lost by 1 point to a much improved Corinth team from a season ago. I think this is a different level of level of opponent to what
I mean, it's like night and day compared
to what they've been playing. And so I think that Ripley's at a little bit of a disadvantage in that sense, because Kossuth has played 2 quality opponents in tough games, whereas Ripley's just kind of breezed through.
Oh yeah.
So
this is going to be the first big test. And and we talked about that a little bit. The next 3 weeks, you got Kossuth at home, plus it's homecoming.
Yeah, plus it's homecoming. So everybody's amped up.
I mean, man, coaches hate homecoming week.
Yeah.
Just like
especially Coach Lyle. I mean, he's no fan of that.
They hate homecoming week because there's so many distractions. And so it will tell a lot about where Ripley's head is at as a group. How they play that game. They're gonna have to ramp it up. But I think I mentioned that last week. One thing that Lyle said about halftime of the Bahia game, they're up 50. Ripley's up 52-0 at the half, and he said that the players, were
focused on business.
No chit chat, no giggles, no laughs. And he looked at that, as a good sign. I did as well.
I agree.
And also, taking care of a team that you should take care of, that says a lot. If Ripley had been sloppy with these 2 wins, that'd be something.
If they'd have won 31-7 against a team they're 50 points better than, maybe that's a cause for concern. But you go in and handle business exactly how, you
leave no doubt.
You leave no doubt. So I think that I definitely think Ripley's the favorite in this game. I would say that, but I do think it's a within a 2-score game either way. I mean, if Ripley.
Yeah,
Ripley has a chance to make a big statement on homecoming. I will say that Ripley has a chance to make a big statement.
Yeah,
which they kind of. I mean, they won their jamboree game against a tough opponent, took care of business, outscored their first 2 opponents. What is it?
It is quick math.
Do some quick math.
131 to 6.
Yeah. So you can't. I mean, you can't.
No, 130. 66. No, 132. No, 122. I'm sorry.
Okay, now we're trying to do the quick math.
I tell you what.
We're going to break out the pen and paper, but one some odd
56
is 122.
122 to 6.
But still, either way, you're outscoring your opponents. Well, I can do the math on that. It's 61 to 3 advantage through on average. So that's I think the largest. It's either the largest margin in the state or close to it through 2 weeks. Through 2 weeks, I think that's the biggest point spread in wins, or close to it.
But yeah, I think they'll be, they would be the favorite. Listen, if they hang 40,
if they win 40-20 or some on, if they pull out a 3-score, anything. I mean, I think anywhere in that vicinity, they've made a big statement against a quality opponent.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That is our RCTV 19 game of the week. That'll be broadcast all over the place. If you're watching this on social media or YouTube or wherever, you'll be able to watch the game live there, or check out Mississippi Sports Group on YouTube. It'll be there in the best quality. Yeah. But I'm excited for that. I think a lot of people in this area, I think it's one of the better games in North Mississippi coming up, as far as just that people are watching both in 3A and 4A.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams looking at Kossuth in 3A.
Because people want to see what Kossuth is going to do.
And so this kind of, they beat a good Baldwin squad. They fell to a much improved Corinth squad. They're playing up. They played up to 4A Corinth. They're playing up. And that says a lot for Coach Kelly in the A. They're not scared. They went on the road, played a good Baldwin team that was in the top 5 and 2A in the state. Then Baldwin won the Skunk Bowl last week
against
Boonville.
Yeah.
So that's a solid, very solid Baldwin team.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited. We're gonna have pictures, highlights.
I'm super excited. And then with something I was thinking about with the live broadcast, I figure a lot of people are going to be at the game.
They are.
You're gonna have your phones out. They'll be watching. You can go to the bathroom.
That's true.
Still keep up.
Carry it with you.
You go concession stand and still keep up.
Or if you just can't make
or if you can't
make it, if you're a Kossuth fan or a Ripley fan, you're watching this.
Yeah.
Tune it in. We'll have all the action with Owen Peyton Taylor and John Knoll. Ked, you jumped on the stream last week for a second.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit. You might hop up there, see where.
Man, I was on. Yeah.
See what's going on and.
Yeah,
kind of figure things out. So we're kind of sticking with Tippah County Sports. We talked Ripley's opponent this week in depth there.
Yeah.
Faulkner has got Alcorn Central on the road at Central, and Central lost their opening night game 12-0 JZ George. They won last week 21.
No, 26-6.
26-6 against Thrasher.
Yeah.
Who Thrasher had won a game. They beat Middleton opening week, and now Middleton is, so it's just a circle here of who's playing who.
Yeah.
But Middleton is playing Walnut.
Yeah,
fully expect Walnut to move to 3-0, handle business in that one. That's a cross state lines. Big rivalry game, though. A lot of those kids because Walnut and Middleton are 7 miles apart or something.
Yeah, man, probably about 7 miles apart.
Something like that. Yeah. Those kids are very familiar with each other.
Yeah.
And
we talked about that. Middleton's pretty good in basketball.
Yeah, they always have
not so much in football.
No. They're not a football school. It's one of the very few MHSAA Tennessee High School Athletic Association rivalry games. There's not many in the state that play regularly.
Yeah.
This may be the only one that plays regularly. Occasionally Corinth will play like McNary Central.
Yeah.
But they don't play them every year, whereas Walnut and Middleton they play They play every year.
Yeah.
So I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't think of any DeSoto County teams. I may ask Bob Bakken, who runs DeSoto County News and DeSoto County Sports for me.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry. I don't.
Well, no, I mean,
can't remember the last.
Middleton hasn't. I don't know if they've ever won.
I know I've never seen a Middleton or
victory in this contest. I haven't seen many even close ones.
Yeah. Never.
But I mean, I guess rivalry in the sense that they play a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They do play pretty regularly, and for the last several years, they've played pretty much every year.
Yeah, it's a good gate, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, a lot of the kids go to church together and yada yada yada. Yeah. So that's what it's really played for.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's where. I mean, I think Faulkner has a shot against Central though.
I think they do.
I mean, I think they might could pull that one out.
You know, and that would be big for them.
That'd be big for them.
You know,
going into district play. This is their last game pre-district.
Yeah.
I think they play it. Have you got their schedule?
Yeah, because they actually volleyball. Yeah, TCPS.
Yeah, so they're
they actually have a week off.
Okay, so they're on bye week.
Yeah, they have a bye week on the 16th, and then they
get a win, go into bye week, building off that.
That'd be good.
I think that's kind of what their plan is.
Yeah.
That'd be, we're playing to win every week, obviously, but I think that a win into bye week ahead of district play will be big for them.
I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great, but like I said, they've shown improvement.
They have shown improvement,
and you just got to keep
building. Yeah, that's all you can really do is just build on what you got. So, all right. So we've talked football. We'll have a kind of a feature on Ripley and what to maybe expect for them going forward, or just a column on what people are saying about Ripley throughout the state and what our personal opinions are there.
Yeah.
So we think Ripley's going to have a big game this week and a chance to kind of set the pace for the rest of the season. I think Walnut gets a win. I think Faulkner's in a winnable game. So Tippah County might pull out a 3-0 week.
That'd be a good week.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last 3-0 week.
Yeah, I'd have to look back. It's been a couple of years for sure with all three teams getting a win the same week.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I like to say with anyone who's asking about Ripley or Walnut, with the season they've been started with, I mean, just enjoy the season.
Yeah, that's true.
There are a bunch of things that go into having success.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay healthy. That's the number one thing. You got to execute. You got to have some luck. And so,
and it's a long season. There's a lot of time in front of us to see where wins and losses wind up. But that's what we're here for, to write and talk about is, how the season's going to go. And that gives us something to do.
And something I'm looking forward to. I watched a little of New Albany and Etowah Friday night, and that was a good one. New Albany was down at the half. And they made a push in the second half and scored. Etowah came back and scored. New Albany answered. With 8 seconds to go in the third quarter, Isaac Smith breaks one. Who's Isaac Smith
he's tremendous.
He's being recruited by
pretty much every SEC, every SEC program.
And that week he had just got back from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And
SEC and beyond. I mean, he's a big time. Big time 4-star.
Yeah, but he brought one about 70 yards, and it was about over with after that.
So when you have a player like that too, it makes a difference. There's been several in Tippah County over the years that you just kind of expect big things from game after game. Kind of looking. So, all right, well. Let's talk on volleyball just a little. We're at roughly the mid-season of volleyball, roughly. I mean, close to the midway point. I guess we'll start with most wins and work our way down. So what it's looking like with me, what I've got is Walnut at 13-4. They won a state title 2 years ago. played deep into the playoffs last year. Met a really good Belmont team that won state and is the top-ranked 2A team in the state this year. But they're 13-4. And their losses have been to Alcorn Central, very quality.
Yeah, all the losses have been to quality opponents.
So I think they're looking at another deep playoff run under Coach Kelly Hopper. I'm thinking that they have another big playoff run. So, but anyway, I've got them at 13-4. I've got Pine Grove at 7-9. The big story really for Pine Grove early in the season, losing Ellie Fryer. That's a
big loss.
That's a big loss for their
volleyball
and basketball.
Yeah, and basketball. However, she could make it back.
Depending on how rehab goes, and then that would, obviously
that'd be big, to have her back.
If they can hold out, keep, because see, they gave Belmont all they wanted in the 2A district championship game last year at Belmont.
You talking about volleyball? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about basketball.
Okay, basketball. Okay.
With Ellie. Yeah. So if Ellie can, get back in time for that, which I can't. It's just going to depend on how rehab goes.
Doctors hope, or they're hoping she can make it back by March.
Okay, and that'd
be big for basketball and especially for
softball, which is her. She's got. Because she's committed already to Northwest there. So we're hoping for a speedy recovery for Ellie, for sure. Good kid. Yeah. Good ball player. Has been around Tippah County Sports her entire life, essentially. Was out
basically
there toting water bottles around and keeping stats and towels, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
She's been out there for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So then just going down the line, we got Faulkner at 4-8. Faulkner looks very improved. It's Coach Brad Barnes' first year at the helm.
Yeah.
We've seen them a few times. I know you've seen them a time or two. I've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah, and we talked a few minutes after the Faulkner Walnut.
Yeah.
And he's he's learning.
Yeah.
And the reason he told me the reason he took the volleyball job was he just got burnt out doing just football only.
Yeah.
I think he done football for the last 10 years. He wanted something different, and
volleyball a growing sport, so it's kind of.
It is.
But yeah, they got I think they got some improvement there from I've seen them the last couple of years, and just I think they got some more wins in them. Like I said, they're 4-8 right now, but I believe they're going to notch a few more wins this season and kind of build on that with a first year coach maybe to go on.
And like me watching them against Walnut, the first set, that was a tough one, but they were winning in the second set against Walnut, and just kind of Walnut comes back at the end and sort of wins that one.
Yeah, and Walnut's like I said, they're a super tough team in 2A.
And they're dealing with the injury. They lost. I got to bring up the name.
You talking about Faulkner?
No, Walnut. Yeah.
Who they got out?
Kelly Hopper. I know the number. I got to call the name. 22 is the number.
And
as soon as I pull up my app.
So we'll have it pulled. But and Walnut's deep. They play a lot. She plays a lot of girls up there. And Coach Kelly Hopper is one of the best volleyball coaches around. Like I said, state built the Walnut program from Jump Street.
Started the program at Kossuth.
Yeah.
As well.
So she's built a couple of what are some tough programs there. Let me see who number 22.
And I'm hoping I hope we'll have.
But injuries are part of it. Injuries are definitely something every team kind of has to. Every team is having to deal with, especially as you get into the season, especially volleyball. They just move so much, so much sharp movement with volleyball. So anytime you have a sport where you're moving.
22. That's Dusty Tennyson.
Okay.
She's a middle hitter. Okay. And so, losing her, Harper was talking about, having to adjust, and move players around. So you having to adjust to that.
Well, I think they're looking at another deep playoff run.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody stays healthy. At the beginning of any sporting event, kind of the top thing that I'm looking for is everybody stay healthy. Of course, I have the teams that you want to win, the teams you cover, and teams and you want to see them win, obviously. Yeah. But primarily, just everybody staying healthy is our number one concern. So we talked Walnut, Faulkner, Pine Grove, Ripley. Now they're 3-11 right now, but they played North Pontotoc really close in district play, and then they won last night in sweeping fashion over Corinth, 3-0. So throw everything out the window. We're in district, it's pretty much district play from here on out.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the only games you're concerned with.
Those are the games that matter.
Yeah. So Ripley is going to try to just, they take another win over Ripley, get past North Pontotoc. They got some other games that are winnable in district play. They're taking 3 teams per district into the playoffs this year. It was 2, now it's 3. I think Ripley has, and they look improved too.
They do.
First year coach, which we've talked about.
Yeah, Coach Boo.
We've kind of talked about her situation on the podcast and wrote about it, and I've posted about it.
Yeah.
So
they're dealing with a lot.
Yes, they're dealing with a lot, and I think that. But I do think, like I said, Ripley, you just watch them, and they took a set from a really good Walnut squad, took a set from somebody else in the Alcorn Central tournament. So anyway, they're winning some sets and playing tough. I'm thinking Ripley has an outside shot of getting into the playoffs in 4A.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. You want to be competitive.
Yeah.
And so.
And they've got some players that have been in that system, been there playing volleyball for Ripley for several years. Yeah. Zoe Green and several others that have been there. So I'm thinking that.
But it'll be big, like toward the end of the season, they'll finish out with North Pontotoc, New Albany, North Pontotoc, and Corinth. Those are
all district games that they're going to look towards, and that's where everybody's looking towards right now.
Yeah.
So, and then another team in our area that's one of the top teams in the state, the defending 1A state champions from Hickory Flat, have looked tremendous.
Yeah.
I think and I tell you a game that I might get us both at here sometime. Maybe if and when they meet in the playoffs, or maybe check them out independently before. But Ingomar, Hickory Flat in 1A.
Yeah,
that's your North Half championship, I think, in 1A. They're very tough. But Hickory Flat, our neighbor there in Benton County that we cover, those girls are good. So we're gonna put them on the schedule to see some more this year.
Yeah, well, Walnut lost to Hickory Flat last week. I think it was last Tuesday.
Yeah.
But she talked about the difference in
and they had some chances.
Yeah.
They had some chances in that game. They kind of unforced errors, serving errors.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned. Unforced errors. And you can't.
You're not beating a
win
good team.
If you're beating yourself.
No, and you're not beating a good team on the road. You're not beating a team like Hickory Flat on the road. Hickory Flat's beat Belmont, the 2A champion. They beat Kossuth. They beat some really good teams. So like I said, Hickory Flat, very tough. Ingomar too. So that'll be a game to watch. Volleyball in our area has really skyrocketed after several years of it being played more in the Jackson area and DeSoto County and the coast. Really, in our kind of the hill country traditional basketball. So you get these basketball girls who are in good basketball shape. They're tough-minded. They'll get out there and do whatever you ask them. Yeah. It's just getting those girls to learn the game. And I think this area is going to produce more and more championships. Belmont's a historical basketball program in Hickory Flat, and so you get a team like Pine Grove, maybe that's a basketball school, but teach those girls the ins and outs, and just over time because a lot of these girls had never picked up a volleyball until the last 3 years that they've had a high school program, and never played it. Whereas you play basketball growing up or play softball. You play those little league, whatever, all the way through, but you don't really do that with volleyball. But as that becomes more the norm, they play what's called club volleyball. I think some of these hill country teams are really going to be tough in volleyball over the next. Because like New Site, they just got a team this year. Wheeler either just got a team this year or last year. So some of these, once those programs kind of get their girls plugged in, I think volleyball in this neck of the woods is going to produce lots of state champions, in my opinion.
And I think on that too, like volleyball, just like archery, like these sports that that you're bringing in, you give more kids an opportunity.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody does.
There's scholarship. There's scholarships out there available for all of that archery and like Blue Mountain College right over here's got a really competitive volleyball team they've had for several years. And they've had several local girls wind up there at BMC Lady Toppers.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest benefit is that you give more kids an opportunity to pay for their college.
I 100% agree.
Yeah,
and that's the name of the game, really. That's why.
Yeah,
I mean, knowing what's out there, and plus it kind of just gives them something to do, keep them a little bit out. There's some kids there's some kids that maybe only show up and try at school because they know they've got to have a C average to play, and that's the only reason they're trying academically, and it kind of, they move on from there.
Yep, I mentioned archery. That coach Quinn.
Yeah, Coach Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he told me like on this last squad they had that won state that he had 2 players that the only reason why they were doing good in school was because of archery.
Yeah, that's right, and I think that's a natural thing. You get kids something they're interested in, kind of the carrot or the stick, kind of, and stick maybe is not working, but you never can tell that carrot might get them. Yeah. So anyway, all right, well that's volleyball. We've got more season to play there. We'll do a playoff update, kind of maybe next week. We'll have a playoff update together for everyone here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to mention this real quick, and then we'll talk just a little SEC football, then we'll wrap things up. Chandler Ray cross country at Faulkner turned in like one of the top times in the state of Mississippi at the first meet of the year, which was, I believe, in Florence, Alabama. I'd have to look that up. But anyway, he was outside of this area running, and he ran I had to get the time. I wish I had it in front of me. But either way, he ran a career best time that would have really crushed 1A to 1A state with his time. So that's a name, and he won the 3,200 meter in track. Kind of now is going to be like the favorite to win a cross-country state title this year. And then, of course, Walnut, we got Gabe McWayne.
Yeah,
So they've got several. I mean, we might have several cross-country state titles.
Yeah, I was talking to Brad Von Cannon about it. We were just texting. He make sure I had the stats for the Joe Bowl, but he was telling me about Gabe McWayne. He won the first meet.
Yeah, he won his first meet of the year too.
Yeah, he won his first meet, and he's a defending cross country champion.
And 30, he won the same thing. The 16 and 30, the 16 and the 30. That's the 1 mile and the 2 mile. Yeah. Gabe is one of our standout performers for sure as far as Tippah County athletes go. But I'm excited for cross country. I mean, that's another thing. We kind of talked volleyball and
another opportunity.
Yeah, another opportunity. Had some kids last year that are running cross country at Blue Mountain College, and I know Gabe has had some offers and talks to run in college, and he will. I mean, he's a top level runner. Chandler Ray's another one. He's gonna. And so I looked at their 2 times, and they were very close. Like whatever Gabe's and Chandler Ray's at Faulkner's, whatever their times were in their opening meets, were within I think they were within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Of each other. So
we could do a cross country.
We'll sponsor it. We will sponsor it.
Yeah.
We can run it at Blue Mountain College.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Check it out. Just all out run for school bragging rights. I'm gonna have to message both. It's Austin Hopper at Faulkner is the cross country, and get up with him and Miss Jackie Von Cannon and be like, hey guys.
I wonder if each one of them will run in the what's the fundraiser coming up in Walnut? The Walnut Fire Department.
5K, Freedom 5K.
The 5K, October 8th.
Oh, no, Firehouse 5K.
Firehouse 5K, October 8th.
I don't know. I need to go cover that and see.
Yeah.
We could do it there if they're both going to run, which they probably will.
And I think it's going to be early in the morning. I plan to be in Stark Vegas for homecoming.
Yeah, that's home. So that's a good segue, I guess, into talking about how Ole Miss and State looked this last year, and Southern. We'll talk Southern too, because we're talking about big three Mississippi schools, and I guess Jackson State too. Jackson State looked tremendous,
and what they're going through, like with
the water situation.
Yeah, they practiced in Starkville before heading out to Florida.
Yeah,
and they laid it on Florida A&M.
Yeah, big.
And that Jackson water situation. I mean,
it's wild.
That's awful.
It's terrible. It's terrible that our capital city is in that state of disrepair. But anyway, so we'll try to wrap this up talking sports. Mississippi State looked the part. I mean, early. I saw that Will Rogers won the Davy O'Brien and Manning Award quarterback of the week, both, I believe.
He
was one of their star performers, whatever it's called. Maybe he didn't win
39 for 48
for 450 and 5 scores.
450 and 5 scores.
That's pretty tough opening week. And then they won big, got revenge over Mississippi State. You look at Ole Miss, who got the win. Running game looks sound, defense looks sound. Still quarterback plays up so Kiffin said that it'll be Luke Altmaier
in week 2.
In week 2. Getting the opening snap.
And Dart got
the opening snap there. He didn't play bad. He just didn't kind of. And there was, I think, one play Kiffin called it. Receiver's wide open. Kiffin he throws his hands up, like touchdown. Dart doesn't throw over there. He calls the exact same play the next time. It's like, look here. It's where they threw his touchdown. So anyway, and Dart's a 19-year-old. I mean, he's a true sophomore 19-year-old. Who knows? Altmaier maybe has a little firmer grasp on the offense. They're going to trot him out there opening week. And then Southern Miss nearly beat famous Mississippi alumni Hugh Freeze and Liberty. But Liberty pulled it out. I had Southern Miss to win, but they lost 21-20, whatever the score was.
Yeah, and I didn't look at it all the way, but I heard Will Hall's quote was, they have to play better, but he was kind of upset at the crowd.
The crowd situation was, of course, it's super hot and muggy down in Hattiesburg, but that's still, opening game. You really want a big crowd.
Show,
you want to be on a big crowd, especially with Liberty coming to town, kind of a little bit of a national program. Now they got a big fan base.
Yeah.
LSU. Are they going to run Brian Kelly out of town, or what's going to happen there?
I don't know about that, but that last quarter,
it was crazy. It was a wild sequence of events.
99 yards, a minute and 15 seconds,
and I can't divulge who this was, but we know a person locally who bet a parlay for all SEC teams to win.
And that was
the loss. The LSU.
Oh man! So they went 13.
He went 13 and
1. So you're talking about a 14-game parlay.
14-game parlay would have won $10,000 on a. It was either a $10 bet or a $100 bet.
It's probably
I can't remember.
$10 bet.
Would have won $10,000 and lost it on the LSU final sequence.
To whoever you are out there,
and you probably are listening.
I feel your pain. I absolutely feel your pain.
It's tough. That would be a tough way to go. But either way, so we're right in the middle of all kind of sports things happening. This has been our first live We're right at 45 minutes, which is where I wanted to be. We'll hope it sounds good out there. Sounds good on our end. Hopefully it sounds good to you guys.
Hey, man, let us know what you think.
Let us know. Send us some messages. We're about to wrap things up.
Yeah. If we sound like idiots, just say, hey,
just message us. We're
idiots.
big boys.
Yeah. We can take it.
We can take it. So anyway, we'll have the Kossuth Ripley game this week. A bunch of other games across the state. We'll have coverage. We're going to have the broadcast, pictures, video, highlights, stories. Go to tippahsports.com for more of that. We may try to get on here and talk some statewide football next week, maybe just some big games across the state. Talk about that. But anyway, you've been listening to the Mississippi Sports Report here at the RCTV 19 studios. I'm John Myers. This is Kedrick Story. Peace out.